Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We are Team 290566, presenting our proposal, Urban Rehash for Kasturi Nagar public places. Kasturi Nagar, an affluent... Hello, Alekia, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Kasturi Nagar, an affluent residential neighborhood, landlocked between a flyover, multiple railway tracks, and a large lake, is surrounded by multiple open spaces lying dormant, like the Kasturi Nagar Park, the area under the flyover, a large green railway buffer, and Swami Vivekanand Park. However, despite so many open public spaces, there seems to be missing public life. This could be attributed to the spaces being unhygienic due to extensive garbage dumping, unsafe because of the fast and disorderly traffic, missing crosswalks and footpaths, and lighting. These spaces are also inaccessible as they have been barricaded and due to the wild growth of plants along the edges. Yet, the site comprising of Kasturi Nagar Park and area surrounding it is brimming with the possibility of having a one seamless large open space. There is an opportunity to rethink and redesign the pedestrian movement for better connectivity. The abundance of natural wealth can be banked upon to create a sensory experience and have the sites brimming with flora and fauna. However, in harnessing these trends, redirecting the scattered movement of traffic and resolving the unsafe and complicated junction poses a challenge. Thus, the project Urban Rehash aims to amalgamate the fragmented open spaces into a coherent public place that caters to different levels of activeness, age, social groups, and safety concerns. To engage the diverse population and cater to their varied needs, the design identifies three larger zones. The Kasturi Nagar Park, imagined as the daily use leisure space for adjacent neighborhoods. It caters to various age, social groups, and serves as a gateway for locals seeking relaxation. The area under the flyover is designed as a district-level active public space to attract youth with opportunities to play, eat, socialize in a safe and well-lit environment. And the lush green buffer will be the city-level public space transformed into a picnic spot with lush greenery, cool breezes, and beautiful plants, birds, and insects benefiting from its proximity to the lake.
Coming to the placemaking strategies, to resolve the problem of the unsafe junction here, the traffic is being rerouted so that we can provide a signal control junction here. At the same time, use this whole space as a single public space. And also the idea is to give an inclusive design with respect to gender, age, universally accessible, dedicated spaces for parking and vending zones, and well-lit up spaces. Talking about safety, the cobblestone paving and tabletop crossings are provided to reduce the speed of the traffic, and adequate lighting and signages for orientation and bulbouts at the junctions are provided for safety. And for the people coming by walk, these tabletop crossings along with adequate width of footpaths are provided. And for the people coming by private vehicles, these two-wheeler and four-wheeler parking pockets are provided. And for the people coming by public transport, a bus shelter is provided here. Talking about the Nala, the idea is to integrate Nala into the public space design by naturalizing its edges and planting native species around it. So this is the whole master plan, wherein we have included this street in front of Kasturi Nagar Park and the junction also into the design, as they have a strong influence on the site. And these three streets lanes are being redistributed to achieve 4.5 meters wide carriageway and 2.5 meters wide footpath. And these tabletop crossings provide a seamless connection between all the three zones. And the BBMP set is being retained with a facelifting along with a composting unit proposed here. And the Nala, the width of the Nala is being increased at few places, making it as a vibrant water body, integrating it into the public space. So looking at Kasturi Nagar Park, from the visioning workshop, it is understood that people over there require a day-to-day recreational space. So this park is designed for such kind of spaces like walking or jogging tracks, shaded seating spaces, kids play area, open gym, sports facilities like badminton court, space for yoga or laughter club, and a biosphere with a kitchen garden around it. And a plaza space is provided over here near the junction. This is the kind of space in front of the park entrance where we have tabletop crossings and the vending zone, making it as a welcoming feature. Around this biosphere, we can have kitchen garden kind of spaces where people can use it on a day-to-day basis. So this is the character view near the junction. So this is a signal control junction with the tree seating spaces and easy connectivity to the surrounding areas as well. And under flyover area, since it has a road access on both the sides, this is mainly designed where people from the residents as well as people from a little far off areas can also use the space as a hangout space. So small kiosks, food courts are provided along with plaza kind of spaces, and sports facilities like skating rink are also provided. The edges of the under flyover area are a little raised from the road level. Making use of that, leisure seating steps are provided where people can just enjoy the traffic with a cup of coffee. And parking spots are provided on either sides of the road. This is the edge treatment wherein we can have vending zones, proper lighting facility, and seating steps around the edges. This is the character view inside the under flyover area where we have seating areas, built-in seating also, and the food court activities happening. And for the railway buffer, since it comes under buffer area with minimal intervention, this is developed as a picnic spot or a community gathering space, or a small events can be hosted in this space. Even vehicular access is provided inside over here with all the basic facilities like public toilets or drinking water points, etc. And all along the edges, seating steps or greenery is integrated into it. And the water body is also integrated into the design as a attraction over here, and watchtowers and strollways are provided within the green buffer. This is the kind of character view where in these steps, these can be used as morning jogging spots or evening strollways or something. And this is a typical section through the flyover where we can see the seamless movement of people through the different zones, as well as edges being porous.
The transformation is thus planned to be carried out in 5 phases, each task improving the quality of public life. To start with, the area and its edges have to be cleaned of garbage and debris to improve visibility. Next, tactical interventions to bring behavioral change like rerouting the traffic, painting crosswalks, junctions, parking spots, and roads, and also generate revenue through paid parking. This will feed into the next phase of developing Kasturi Nagar Park and its edges. Leasable vending spaces can be introduced to further help generate revenue for the next phase, that is the 4th phase of activating the under flyover area. These spaces can be earmarked for smaller gatherings and events apart from the daily life that will occur there. Eventually, the green buffer will be transformed in the last leg of the project development. The revenue that continues to be generated can be channeled into the maintenance of these spaces over time. Thus, the urban rehash proposal rehashes the way we approach our public places, and through effective but minimally invasive interventions, transforms the Kasturi Nagar public spaces into a self-sustaining hub for social life, which looks like this. In conclusion, thus the grounded design approach and temporal spaces bring Kasturi Nagar and its public spaces to life. Thank you.
Thank you, team. We can open it up for questions now to the jury.
Yeah, I have a question. This is Aniruddha.
Hi, Anirudh.
Yeah. So there is a large green space that has to be sustained. What is the, I mean, have you considered the maintenance cost and the factor in it? Like, because it's on either side of the flyover, there are huge parks. So the maintenance of these green spaces especially, and there is a lot of hardscaping as well as landscaping aspect included, which definitely requires some kind of pruning and maintenance of the greens, which is a very big cost. So what you have thought about it, and also about watering these many greens.
Yes. Alekia, do you want to take this question or do I go ahead?
Yeah, please
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. So firstly, one of the important interventions for us was rejuvenating the water edge, because we wanted water to percolate into the ground. As it is so close to the lake, we are expecting the water levels to be high. So the larger trees can depend on groundwater. Secondly, for maintenance, that is why we have, introduced the idea of paid parking, leasing out the vending spaces, also adding billboards along the highway, so that these could help generate revenue, which could in turn, be fueled into the maintenance of these parks over the long run. And help maintain the landscape as well as the hardscape.
Just adding to what she has said, all the landscape species that we are proposing here are all native species and more like forest trees, which requires very less maintenance.
Okay. So I just wanted to point out that when it is a public space, it is also about the look and feel of the greens. So this survival of greens is not good enough. So if they are able to survive with a minimal amount of maintenance, even if that, I mean, yes, that can happen, but finally it's a public space. You are also trying to make it like a family picnic spot. So the look and feel of the space is very important, which eventually, there will be a lot of maintenance of the greens which will be required. I'm just pointing out.
Yes, we agree with you absolutely. And that is why for the railway buffer, we have proposed minimal interventions, because it is already so rich with the kind of trees it holds in place. So only the invasive ones we'd probably remove and keep the existing large, beautiful trees intact, and only propose which is actually needed and which would enhance the whole look and feel of the space.
So please add some.
Yes.
Can I, Zaruna here?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Firstly, congratulations. Such good work, great effort. My question is from what I have experienced and after meeting residents of Kasturi Nagar, they're very, protective and they're very passionate about their neighborhood, as we all saw, right? So when you design something like this, a very nice node, which is accessible to everybody, not just Kasturi Nagar, it looks like everybody can go there. And so how have you sort of, I mean, I don't know if I've missed it, how have you sort of differentiated that sense of neighborhood sort of feeling versus anybody from city coming and using? Because then the question of Anirudh, like, how does one take the ownership sense of, who maintains it, or what part we say this is for the neighborhood, or where is the dilution or not dilution happening? Have you thought about that? Interweaving of neighborhood and the city level. Where does that happen? Where does that not happen? And I also, in your drawings, now that you've done such great work, where is that fingers coming in from neighborhood, which says this is part of them, and therefore we're giving it out to the city, right? So where is that sense of, did you get what I'm saying?
Yes, we did get your question. Thank you for that question. It's actually a very important question because, like you said, the ownership, people feel that they connect to the space and they are very passionate about it. And that is why when we were transforming, when we were looking at the design, the first aspect that we thought of was the kind of activities we'll be proposing, because activities sort of anchor the spaces. And that is why when we were designing the Kasturi Nagar park specifically, we were very sure that the activities we wanted to give was what the residents, immediate residents needed or wanted. So it is actually for leisure, the kind of things that you would do on a regular basis, like take a walk, morning walk when you have a routine, or you go to the park with a group of friends. So those kind of activities we made sure to incorporate in Kasturi Nagar Park. Then moving forward, where we would want it to be a little more active, and probably we'll want more people to be coming in. That is where under the flyover we differentiated. Okay, this place could have more visitors, and what brings in more visitors is more variety of food options, a little more vibrancy, a little more crowd, and that is why we kept the under flyover area a little open and had activities that cater to more people, and to a specific user group that we focused on here was the young people who would want to be playing sports, and that we didn't limit it to just Kasturi Nagar, because that sort of is missing across our open spaces, the opportunity to play free sports, and that is why we tried to keep that within this area. And largely for the lastly for the green buffer, we've one thing that we've incorporated that there, as we imagined it to be accessed by a lot of people, was the bus stop that would be intercity, which would bring people in from all over the city. So that we incorporated at the edge of the green buffer, because we imagine that space to be used by not just the immediate residents, but people coming from afar as well. So connectivity was important for that aspect, to improve not just immediate connectivity, but across the city. And secondly, it was important to have it as a large open space, which could be, which could be flexible enough to be used in any way that people wanted it to be. So yeah, I hope that answers it.
Yeah, it answered. I did not say you didn't have any of it. You have all of it. That's the problem. Maybe it didn't come through in terms of clarity wise. This is where if I consider this as my home from on behalf of Kasturi Nagar residents, there is one level of privacy, then there is semi, and there's public. So where does that one stop and one begin? Because after some time we give this amazing vision, and also it becomes a problem when you can't stop. Who are we to stop public from using this from anywhere, right now we are doing it for the sake of two things. One, primarily the network, the larger level, as an urban designer, also as a Kasturi Nagar resident. One, for me, city is very important. The systems should not be broken, which is your flyover and your metro and under the flyover. The other one is me being a part of Kasturi Nagar. After some time, that should not, what we provide should not become nuisance to them at the end of the day. That's always a challenge. I don't know how to deal with that. So that kind of clarity, it's there already in terms of your activities, but I don't think it's coming across in your drawing. But yeah.
Okay, noted.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ankit.
Okay. So some of the bad, some of the issues which are mostly around dumping that is happening, if you look at the issues on the side, how is your design responding to that issue? If you look at number one issue out there was the garbage dumping that is happening, animal waste. How are you solving for that? Second, if you look at the Rajkalue itself, it's actually full of sewage. So how are you looking at solving that? Because you have to kind of solve it by design. Right now, if you look at it, it's pretty much sewage water, right? So opening it up doesn't help. Just the third question, you can just answer it one after the other, is that I see that the edges of whether it's the water or it's the road meeting the park, I do see edges are being of concern, because especially if you look at the tertiary road, which is where the railway line side sort of comes in, that is still thoroughfare. There's actually a city inter neighborhood traffic happening there. So just wanted to understand, and that's also in the railway side. If you look at, you can't really touch the railway side. There needs, so I would like to understand your ideas around treating these edges, whether it's the water in the park, the road in the park, the railway in the park, all of these conditions, and the first two questions. So you can just answer them very quickly, 30 seconds.
Just a moment. I would really request the jurors to keep it short. We have only 10 minutes for question answer session.
Yeah.
I would also request, if there are overlapping questions that have happened, maybe we can move on to the next proposal. So guys, if you can just respond to it very quickly, just in under a minute. I would like to.
Yeah, no long sentences, just like 20 seconds. That's enough.
Sure. So firstly, for the water body, we are naturally treating it. So there are plants that actually treat water naturally. That was one thing. Also, to avoid siltation, we were hoping that we could use nature-based solutions again for the treatment of the water body, using pebbles and such to stabilize the edge. And for the cleaning part that you said, for maintaining the waste, there's already a BBMP shed that already segregates waste. To that, what we've added is a composting unit to manage the organic waste. And we believe that when there are more people out on the streets, nobody prefers to do anything that is socially not favorable. And that is the whole idea of opening up these spaces, that all unsocial activities are limited. Third question was about the edges, right? So for us, like you said, it's a thoroughfare that goes through the city. So we do not want to disturb that. We just want to slow down the traffic enough that there is easy crossing. So that is why we've used cobblestones and introduced crossings at regular intervals wherever needed.
Okay, I'm fine. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're out of time.